How can we watch Caitlin? Can we come to the event? Can you live stream it? All of these things. And it ended up being put on television.
In contrast to the WNBA, which seems to erupt at the thought of giving Caitlin Clark any real credit or spotlight, ESPN just dropped a bombshell about her shiny new contract with the one league that truly deserves her. Yes, the LPGA is bringing Clark into the golf world, where she can finally be seen being honored and appreciated.
What we saw from Caitlin Clark playing golf was the LPGA being really happy about it.
Fans are excited to see her shine, especially since the WNBA has gone to great lengths to minimize her brilliance and instead focus on players like A.A. Wilson and Angel Ree, ignoring the fact that Clark has been unfairly singled out and harassed on the court. The WNBA hasn't even acknowledged her hardships or accomplishments.
It's gotten to the stage now where it seems like they're just trolling the WNBA. Like, at this stage, I think they're just trolling the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark recently signed an industry-shifting contract with the LPGA. Yes, you read correctly. A basketball sensation entered the golf world and made it a complete spectacle. However, ESPN did what they do best, killing the excitement with the grace of a lead balloon. Rather than taking advantage of the moment and making the story as big as it deserved, they provided coverage that was so boring it could put an insomniac to sleep. Come on, ESPN. You'd think Caitlin was knitting instead of igniting sports history.
You see here, this is days later. Nothing but love for Caitlin Clark over here. Constantly saying, like, it's always, everything is like, who doesn't love Caitlin Clark? Like, all of these posts are like...
This is Caitlin Clark, a once-in-a-lifetime athlete shattering two sports at once, and ESPN handled it like a back-page footnote. It's mind-boggling how you can take a headline meant to be screamed from the rooftops and present it like a lecture that makes you want to fall asleep. Clark's first foray into the golf world drew a crowd that dwarfed anything the WNBA did this year.
The fact that the WNBA posted nothing, posted zero about Caitlin Clark golfing in this Pro-Am event.
In the meantime, the LPGA was out there teaching Clark a masterclass in how to avoid screwing up. Instead of inviting her to a pointless golf event, they took her to a prom that wasn't even meant to be televised. But here's the thing. Fans practically begged the LPGA for coverage on social media. Unlike some basketball leagues, the LPGA knew how to pivot and televise the event, turning it into a spectacle that drew attention from all directions, resulting in an absurd 34 million social media impressions. That kind of figure, 34 million, makes the WNBA appear to be playing with crayons.
The LPGA did literally everything correct. They capitalized on the moment. They found a way to put it on television. They allowed people to be there. Caitlin was signing autographs.
And the LPGA's genius didn't end there. In a masterful move in sports marketing, they teamed Clark with the best golfer in the world, Nelly Korda, to create an electrifying duo that enthralled even those who couldn't tell the difference between a baseball bat and a golf club.
The LPGA was promoting the crap out of this event, and they also did something really smart by pairing her up with their currently #1 golfer in the world, and her name is Nelly Korda.
Because the LPGA knew how to play their hand, their #1 golfer was the ideal marketing opportunity. The event wasn't simply a victory for golf. It was a cultural moment and an enormous splash that demonstrated the LPGA was more than just a golf association. It was an entertainment powerhouse. Let's go on to the NBA's response. Or rather, the lack thereof, which was louder than a stadium full of disgruntled fans. How can you ignore Caitlin Clark when she's trending on Twitter, TikTok, and even Instagram? Not a single tweet, shout out, or even a dull Instagram story complete radio silence. The WNBA didn't just make a mistake. They sent it skyward, as if they've gone out of their way to demonstrate that they don't know how to market their own future megastar.
Their #1 golfer, this is the perfect marketing opportunity.
It's a slap in the face to fans who are out there pleading for content for any acknowledgement of Clark's greatness, but the WNBA doesn't care. While the LPGA was out there flexing their social media game, making Clark the face of golf for a day, the WNBA just sat in the corner twiddling their thumbs. Caitlin Clark is a household name, a social media sensation, a game changer with crossover appeal, and leagues would sell their souls for her.
You are fumbling it for people like me who never wanted to play professional basketball because I didn't see a future in it. Now, girls can see a future in it.
And let's not act as though this is a singular occurrence. The entire marketing approach of the WNBA is a tragic farce. How many more times must they squander the opportunity to showcase their stars before realizing that they are intentionally alienating fans? Clark is a marketing treasure trove who might boost their audience, give their shows new life, and bring in the money they sorely need. But the WNBA's reaction crickets that are so loud and embarrassing.
If you look at the LPGA Twitter account, it is filled with Caitlin Clark things. Photos of her, a whole video of the fans cheering her signing things, taking photos, their players hanging out with Caitlin, and obviously they're showing their golfers as well.
Caitlin Clark, it's not just about golf. This generational basketball star secured a contract with the LPGA, marking a turning point for women's sports and a pattern for elevating athletes. Of course, ESPN treated this like some forgettable, half-hearted news item. Given how little excitement they brought to the table, you'd think Clark was announcing her retirement to start a knitting club. Meanwhile, what is the WNBA doing? They're busy being the silent, clueless organization we've come to expect. How can a sports league ignore a star like Caitlin Clark? She's more than just a player. She's a phenomenon with the kind of crossover appeal that could save the league from going extinct. But did they seize the opportunity? No. It's embarrassing, not a post, not a tweet, and not even a WHER of acknowledgement.
Caitlin Clark's golf debut just made me so upset with the WNBA.
It's a smack in the face to fans and a complete disservice to the league itself that the LPGA is treating Clark like royalty while the WNBA is acting as like she doesn't exist. Let's not forget about the future stars who will be witnessing all of this. Juju Watkins and Paige Buers, who are both set to join the WNBA soon, are likely questioning their choices. Would you want to play in a league that struggles to market its best players? If the WNBA continues to make mistakes like this, they run the risk of losing these amazing athletes before they ever put on a jersey. Although Beckers and Watkins are the future and more than just names, given the NBA's propensity to blow every marketing chance, these guys may start looking elsewhere. It's practically self-defeating, not simply a poor tactic.
It's embarrassing.
You have great players in this league. You have Paige coming in. You have Juju. Do not fumble it with those girls either. Stop fumbling the moment, because you're not only fumbling it for the current players in the league, you are fumbling it for every girl who wants to play professional basketball at one point.
This time, ESPN was able to surpass their typical mediocrity. The story of Caitlin Clark's LPGA contract should have made the top page, but ESPN handled it like a snooze fest, focusing on the most uninteresting details rather than showcasing Clark's groundbreaking crossover move. It seems as though they lack passion and are unable to detect a seismic change when it occurs directly in front of them. As usual, ESPN reported it in a dull news release, but Clark isn't simply playing golf. She's making history.
This was the perfect opportunity for the WNBA to do, have you seen it when an NBA player or a football player goes to an NBA game or goes to wherever and they'll be in the comments or they'll just say something, something cute. This was the perfect time for the WNBA to also be posting about this. And they said nothing.
It's quite ironic that ESPN should be leading the charge to support women's sports and promoting players like Caitlin Clark, particularly when she's doing something so groundbreaking, but instead they're contributing to the issue by reiterating the NBA's incapacity to highlight stars. How do you not get excited about this? How do you not see that this is the tale that might change how we view female athletes? Clark is becoming a cross-sport superstar and a pioneer for women in athletics. The lack of enthusiasm and the shoddy coverage are disrespectful.
It just goes to show that all of us who have been speaking out about this and saying, it doesn't seem like you guys are giving Caitlin, the kind of props that she deserves for bringing all these eyeballs and, the Caitlin Clark effect that we talk about, viewership, money, all of those things.
And may we discuss the endorsements? When the legendary Serena Williams shouts you out, you take advantage of it. However, the WNBA, as usual, did nothing at all. This is a terrible message to send to young athletes. If you're Paige Buers or Juju Watkins, You're probably wondering if the WNBA will ever have your back or if they'll continue to ignore their own talent. Serena freaking Williams praised Caitlin Clark's talent, acknowledging her resilience and the immense pressure she handles with such grace. The bigger picture is really clear. The LPGA's marketing victory ought to have served as a warning to everyone as they exploit Clark's celebrity to boost their whole roster and make golf seem exciting and hip. The WNBA and ESPN should feel ashamed of how poorly they handled this. Clark's contract is about more than just the present. It's about laying the groundwork for women's sports in the future. However, because of ESPN's indifferent coverage and the WNBA's perplexing silence, this moment fell hollow. It serves as a harsh reminder that whereas some businesses are advancing, others are mired in the past and clinging to their incapacity.